either Ray or Robert. Do either of you know the amount of the endowment currently for the library?
In excess of $3 million.
Okay. I don't want to continue the discussion now, but when and if the point comes where members of the public argue for the library, so to speak, I'm going to want to know why in this of all years we're not looking at the endowment. You're talking about a $175,000 difference proposed in the budget. And if you're raising an endowment for a rainy day, in part for a rainy day fund, this is it. If there's ever a time to use the endowment, this is it. So I personally am going to have to be convinced on that point. Don't paint me as an enemy of the library. I think the library is a valuable function. I'm the guy who's questioning the police department and the fire department, but everyone's going to have to share the pain, including the library. So when we reach that point, I'm just saying to the public, let's have a fair and honest discussion. There's a $3 million endowment, and how does that get used? I don't think the other departments in this town have $3 million endowments.
Mayor, if I may
Anyone
add to
else
that.
wishing to be heard? Mr. Links? I'll get to you, Robert, next.
Good evening. My name is Don Links. Hi, guys. I have been on the library board since the first of the year, and to answer Dan's question, there is an endowment, and I'm not a lawyer, Dan, you are. There is a certain amount of the money that's legally can be used for a number of different purposes. The trustees are in the middle of researching that, what can be used and what can't be used.
Fair point.
Okay, and I'm on the subcommittee of personnel and finance, so we're going to be up
And
here
it'd be
next
useful
week,
to know that.
No, I wanted you to know, it's a very valid question. It is $3 million currently because of the market condition, but what can be used for different purposes, and that we have an attorney looking at that. Okay.
Yeah,
Don,
thanks.
can I ask you just one question? You're on the Personnel Committee. Are
Sure.
conversations ongoing with the employees of their suggestions, what the library could do to be more efficient?
We've had, there's a subcommittee of the trustees, which I'm a member of, and over the last 3 Saturdays, we have met every Saturday in the morning. To answer your question straight out, yes, the library employees have been asked to really put together what I call a game plan to move forward. The trustees, of course, are overviewing it, but we wanted input from the employees as to how they would look at the budget, and if they were empowered, how would they try to get within the budget with the potential cuts that we are looking at. Last Saturday, we met for about 2.5 hours, the subcommittee, and we went over those with the director. And although I'm not at liberty to say what we came up with, it's certainly not final, as you know. We're still in the discussion stage. But the input was very interesting from the employees, quite honestly. And they have had input, yes, absolutely.
It's amazing how that works when you ask the employees for ideas.
Yeah, it was a very good idea that we came up with. And quite frankly, they come up with some great ideas and how to move forward and how to help us manage the potential budget cuts. So it's really worked out well so far.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Robert, you wanted to?
Yes, I just wanted to share this with the council. My view of the surplus, municipal surplus, is that that is the taxpayer's endowment, and we release larger and larger amounts of that every single year. So as an analogy, that is the taxpayer's endowment.
And Robert, one other question for clarification. Where does the various pension costs show up in the budget? It's part of the fringe benefit.
Where does the increased pension? Yes.
Just that the pension shows up in every, it's part of the fringe benefits in each department?
Well, the pension and Social Security under appropriations is the third line. Pension and Social Security.
Package we have.
Okay. And health insurance. But when you look, I made an estimate. When you look into the budget books, if you have some questions, I made estimates of the fringe benefits for police and fire separately.
Right.
That's one separate calculation. And then for public employees' retirement, that's another separate calculation, since they're the main differences are that the pension amounts for police and fire are greater than the public employee retirement system. The health benefits are similar. However, the police and fire pay Medicare only at 1.45%, and the public employee retirement system employees pay Social Security at 7.65%. If anyone wants to review the calculations on how I arrived at that, feel free to call me.
Anyone else from the public wishing to be heard? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. Is there anything else for the good of the order of this council?
Can I add one last thing?
Yes, sir.
Just in terms of, before you adjourn,
I was going to give you my cup here.
in terms of sharing the pain, we haven't discussed this with the employee unions, but we have met with our labor council, and we are looking at to a involuntary rotating furlough program where we, in order to reduce the personnel and related costs and still ensure full staffing, as to whether that would violate our existing bargaining agreements. When the unions rebuffed our request to reopen the contracts, our remedy is basically either to reduce staff or the compromised middle ground position would be a furlough. We could determine that based on how much money we need to generate in terms, so is it a week, is it 2 weeks? And how do we do it? How do you maintain essential services, police and fire? How do you apply it equitably, and can you do it? We're in the process right now looking at it. So when the question comes up is how we're sharing the pain, we're all going to share the pain. And the question is, can we do it? And that's what we're looking at right now. And we'll have an answer hopefully in the next 10 days. And that's going to be one of the recommendations.
Mr. Dunham,
Yes?
it's your turn.
Oh, thank you very much. You don't pay me enough to remember this every week. I hereby move that we adjourn this honorable meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.